Hello, friends and family from around the world. This is Mike with Daily Events Worldwide, and we are on March 21st, 2025. Welcome to another surviving day on the planet, and welcome to the Daily Do, giving you your space weather update, earthquakes, volcanoes, and world weather. Always starting out looking at our sun for the past 48 hours at 304 angstroms. Looking at the last few images there was a plasma blast, Earth facing, and as well activity cresting into view, big plasma filaments rolling around the equatorial region. Looking at the last 48 hours incoming, cresting into view, we do have a very large coronal hole region that is turning into view as well. Looking at outgoing here, this is where half of the 11 sunspots are. Amazing images here brought to you by Solar Dynamics Observatory mixed with Daily Events Worldwide. Looking at multi-spectrum, pointing out the last 48 hours of events, and as well in the bottom left-hand corner showing the magnetic field of our sun during this large coronal hole that is turning in for an Earth-facing party. Should be an interesting roar into spring. Huge coronal hole, southern region, and as well stretching into the equator. Looking at 193 angstroms here. Pretty amazing imagery here. Cresting into view along the equatorial region. Couple solar tornadoes, plasma filaments spinning around. And as well, that deepening coronal hole, just magnificent. And that is set to increase our solar winds to the planet. Having a look now at our sunspot regions in motion. As we have 12 sunspot regions, yesterday we had 9. 3 have quickly formed, and another couple new ones coming into view. 4030 and 4028 are gravitating towards each other, and 4034 is quickly forming in behind it. Current space weather conditions, we are under R1 minor radio blackout impacts expected, and as well level 1 geomagnetic storms. Solar winds are coming in at 506 kilometers per second right now. Watch for those to really increase during this coronal hole event. Having a look now at our current magnetosphere, showing solar winds on the left, pressure on the right, as we were impacted all day long. Solar winds up and over 500 kilometers per second. Watch for them to be upwards of 700 to 800 kilometers per second during this next coronal hole event. Solar X-ray flux showing minor M-class solar flare. Solar proton flux slightly raised. Geomagnetic activity hopping up into the KP5, which is the level 1 geomagnetic. Space Weather Prediction Center here showing their space weather spiral. CMEs taking off outgoing direction. And as well, bottom one is showing the radial velocity. The dark red being the coronal hole solar winds. But you can see a small impact coming in here for the 23rd and 24th. And as well tonight with our level 1 geomagnetic storm that we're going through. Look up across Canada. If you've got clear skies, you will most likely see some northern lights. Now looking at LASCO 3, showing the last 2 days of imagery. Showing an Earth-facing CME, halo CME, just in the last few images. Northward, polar region, coronal mass ejection, and as well Earth-facing. Tonight's aurora forecast, definitely going to see something across Canada, as far south as Montana, South Dakota. Looking at earthquakes now the last 24 hours, as we did have some sizable earthquakes strike Adak, Alaska, and as well Panama with a 6.2 earthquake. Barica, Panama with a 6.2 earthquake. Right around the same time as the Adak, Alaska. Quiet through South America. Notable earthquakes spreading northeast. Puerto Rico. earthquakes piling up still in Alaska. Most recent earthquake being here, Tonga region, 4.6. Deepest earthquake past 24 hours, 540-kilometer depth, Tonga region. Indonesia has been hopping all day long. Deep earthquakes, large eruption at Luatolo volcano. Notable earthquake, 5.1, Mongolia. 4.2 earthquake, Germ. And as well a 4.8 earthquake reported Iran. 4.3 earthquake there, Greece. Last 24 hours, USGS is reporting over 300 earthquakes, 302 to be exact, as earthquakes are piling up all across Alaska and as well California still rumbling, but not quite the earthquake swarm, concerning earthquake swarm just yet. But earthquakes still surrounding the San Fran Bay Area, overlooking all of the earthquakes that hit Adak, Alaska, 14 of them, largest being a 6.2, as well the 5.7 yesterday. But look at across Alaska, lots of minor seismicity spread all the way north to the Bering Sea. Looking across California and as well into the Pacific Northwest, even Los Angeles looks very busy. Heads up, you live in an earthquake-prone zone, just have a plan and be ready. Hashtag no fear here, just aware and prepared. Now having a look at the last 7 days for shakers and movers across the world, still notable quiet Juan de Fuca Plate region, and as well the Northwest Pacific Plate. Heads up through the Kermadec. 2 largest earthquakes you've seen the past 7 days struck this morning, 6.2 Panama and 6.2 Alaska. What's going on with the Juan de Fuca? It's been really quiet recently, a little too quiet. Around the rest of the world, still seeing the African plate and up into the Mediterranean, highly active and volcanic region. Let's hope that Santorini does not erupt in our time. Kermadec Trench, up into the Juan de Fuca. Kilauea, still erupting. Heads up, my friends and family around the world, having now look at our SO2 forecast, sulfur dioxide emissions, brought to you by the active and erupting volcanoes around the world. Big plume coming out of Kilauea, and as well eastern Kamchatka, Alaska, eruptions there as well, even through Mexico. Hawaii, large eruption, which I noted yesterday. It has since stopped. And then a large eruption here at Luatolo or Luatobi volcano in Indonesia. You can see all of this sulfur dioxide getting wrapped up in the low pressure system just northwest of Australia. That's a pretty large toxic sulfur dioxide plume that came from a large eruption in the Indonesian area. As well notable through the Congo region, through central regions of the Congo, another volcanic eruption. You can see lots of SO2 releasing from the African continent. Now having a look at world weather, multiple systems coming through this week. Most of the wintry systems will be affecting Canada. Other than that, big high pressure ridge moving in for the United States. There won't be any major systems until the 27th or 28th. When you see low pressure system there mixing with Gulf moisture. Big low pressure system coming into the west coast. Alberta Clipper coming in to eastern Canada and as well northeastern United States. Could bring a little bit of snow, but no major snowstorms here. Overlooking Africa, Southeast Asia, of course, Australia, New Zealand. No major cyclones forecast here in the long range, but multiple lingering lows across northern parts of Australia could bring maybe a little too much rain to the regions. So heads up through parts of northwestern Australia, Northern Territory, and as well Queensland. Lingering lows, lots of moisture coming in, right down to Tasmania in the long range. Quick look here overlooking the North Pacific. As things are starting to shift, Kilauea helping the large high-pressure ridge through the Central Pacific, also fueling an intense low-pressure system in the long-range forecast. Watch for multiple lows coming into the west coast. The rain train is upon ya. I always like to share here the upper-level winds overlooking the northern hemisphere and around the rest of the world. As we embark into spring 2025, we've still got a couple weeks to go. But boy, oh boy, if we get some super fast cosmic solar winds, which we are forecast to over the next few days, watch for things to really change with these upper level winds. This depicts our northern polar vortex, where magnetically we have a North Pole, and as well from the solar winds we do. Much love, everybody. Stay aware and prepared, stay young and have fun, and get your daily dew. Thanks for watching.